What's going on, everybody? It is time for episode number 61 of Truth Will Set You Free right here on the Be The Change Network. We've got some great co-hosts today. You probably recognize their names. We got Kevin from Liberty Revolt, Casey, everybody's favorite libertarian, and Suni, the middle child, will be on today's episode. I'm currently staring at Suni's empty chair, but she should be back shortly. We also have a special guest. We have brought a nurse from a place that I won't say the state, but we have a nurse on today's show that's going to go and tell us a little bit about what's going on the ground level, what she's seeing with COVID, and all the different things that we could talk about. I'm also going to share a link to our Rumble page because I got a gut feeling that today's episode may not be up for a long period of time. So I'll be putting it right up on Rumble. Please do us a favor and go ahead and hit the share button as I'm seeing our numbers start to go up as we speak. We'll be getting started in just about 30 seconds. The topics today, we're going to talk infrastructure. We're, of course, going to talk COVID with our nurse, JJ. We might be bringing up a little bit of racism in the Rockies organization because you can't yell at a mascot anymore without being confused with saying the N-word. We also, of course, Cuomo has resigned. That is correct. Cuomo has resigned. All is good in the world now if you could just get arrested and tried on the murders of elderly. All right, let's go ahead and get the episode started. It's time for Truth Will Set You Free. What's going on, everybody? It is Anthony from #BetheChange. If you're wondering where Suni is, we're wondering as well. Well, hopefully she'll be back soon.
It's Wednesday over there. Maybe the power's out. She's running to the store at the last minute. Who knows?
It is her anniversary week, so I don't know. Maybe they're doing some unspeakables that she had to really quick make happen. I don't know. I have no idea. But she should be on shortly. Please, guys, go ahead and put some comments in the box. Let us know where you are coming in from. Let's see. We got Sharon from South Florida. Kelly Harder's in the house. Betty, what's going on? And Barbara, hello from my walkout. So Barbara's going for a walk. That's right. She's checking in. She's one of the people that I'm working with on, changing their life up, making things better. Good to see you in there, Barbara. We're at about 70 viewers, which is a lot less than usual. Who knows why? I don't know. Do me a favor, guys, and go ahead and hit the share button. We also need some more thumbs up and hearts if you guys can. So if you're on YouTube and you're on your phone, swipe the comments off to the side, hit the like button. And if you want to know when we go live on YouTube, please just hit that, not just hit the subscribe, but hit the bell as well. And you get all notifications from that. Kevin, go ahead and introduce yourself. Who are you, my friend?
Hi, everyone. Kevin from Liberty Revolt Media. Out here I might not be everyone's favorite libertarian, but I'm still trying to do my best to get the message out there. Working with Liberty Revolt Media and just, like I said, try to get this conversation going in a way that actually starts to bring about solutions rather than, oh, I thought you were going to drop me right there. It looked like you were gearing up for it. But yeah, trying to find some solutions to our problems amidst all the complaining we do. So
yeah, well, good to have you, Kevin. Do you notice that Kevin's gotten a little bit more confident in his intro? Hey, everybody, it's Kevin from Liberty Revolt Media. I like that his first couple episodes is like, hi, everybody, I'm Kevin from Liberty Revolt Media. Now he's got like a little head flare. He's got a little, hey, everybody.
I'm finding my.
Okay, well, he stumbled over those words a little bit too much. All right. Suni, what's going on? It's your anniversary week. What's cracking?
It is 10 years.
Congratulations. Holy crap. That's amazing.
Congrats. Yeah, that's what happens when you settle down and you get married early and you work through your marriage,
Wait, no, shots fired at you, isn't it?
I'm good.
We're 10 years, man.
So what do you guys have planned for your anniversary?
We're going camping. We found this really cool beachside camping site. So we're gonna go camping for 4 days, go snorkeling, hike some trails in the mountains. They have this really dope place called Acuni Rindo, and it's just a large mass area of mountain roads. You can go through there, take pictures. We're gonna have fun. Thank you.
So, are you? What are you doing with the kids? Are you just going to lock them up at home or chain them, or how is that going to work?
No, when you don't have a babysitter, you have to celebrate these things with your kids.
Oh man, that's just.
So you're bringing a little melatonin along, like, "Hi guys, it's a great night tonight."
We're gonna get the gummies. Yeah.
The gummies. Oh man. Also giving a shout out to Christine as well. Christine helps us out a lot, and it is her anniversary as well. Apparently this is a popular, what is this, July, August? I don't even know what the date is. August. Actually, when did my parents got married in June. I think they got divorced in August. What's that?
Mine got married on 4/20.
Lit.
That is fitting. Very fitting.
My mom knew exactly why. My dad still has no idea. He might have figured it out. But
oh my God. Casey, what's going on, brother? How you been? You're feeling better this week?
Absolutely. Feeling much better. Just can't wait for tomorrow. It's going to be a wonderful day tomorrow.
What's tomorrow, Casey?
It's going to be D-Day. D-Day for Q guys.
I love the comments that we've seen, just in different things. The internet is, okay, if I'm wrong, then great. The internet will not go down tomorrow. Trump will not be in office tomorrow. I have to be very clear. Nothing's going to change tomorrow except for the fact our country will be one day further away from being a good country. That's the only thing that's going to happen in the next 24 hours. Let's be very clear. But we can still fight to get it back. And that's part of what we do here at Be The Change and our shows like this. We are trying to bring truth. And that's how it's funny. One of the first episodes I did was on COVID, and we've talked about COVID a bunch throughout, but I like when we bring a nurse on to see what's going on, and we are having another resurgence of COVID. So it's very important that we believe that we have somebody on that's going to talk about what is anecdotally going on in their part of the country, in their hospital, et cetera. So before we bring her up, I just want to make sure that we put all the banners on the bottom of the screen. If you want to listen to this on a podcast, again, I don't know if this episode is going to stay up because we're going to be using some trigger words for the YouTubes and the Facebooks. So who knows? So of course, you'll be able to see it on our podcast channel or hear it on our podcast channel, as well as I'll go ahead and put our Rumble page up as well. But if you'd like to support anything that we do, I missed Motivational Monday this week because I was feeling a little under the weather as well. So I'll get back to that. Maybe I'll do a Getting Over the Hump Wednesday tomorrow. So if you'd like to support us, become a Patreon, patreon.com/BetheChange USA. And again, the best way to support us right now is share this episode. Let's get more going out there. And then I'm going to put in the comment box what our Rumble is so you guys can have it. But it's pretty simple. It's just Be The Change USA if you want to search it. But here you go. Bum, bum, bum. Say vacations. I like that. Vacations instead of the other V word. All right. Sounds good.
So can we go live on Rumble? Is that a thing?
You can, but you have to have an established page with like thousands of viewers and stuff like that. Eventually you can.
Okay, I'll just show my face and the people will flock. Just put a video of me up there.
There's a little
and you'll get like thousands of subscribers.
It's little black privilege. Yeah, black privilege for you. Yeah, exactly. Actually, Suni, I don't know if you've seen this, but my TikTok destroys you. Anyways, all right, let's go. Oh, all right.
Listen, but my IG is bumping, and I have the likes of B. Tatum and Candace Owens that actually know who I am. So your TikTok is great, bro.
Hey,
but all the heavy hitters.
He's got a bunch of 12-year-old girls that know how to dance.
No, I managed to find the oldest TikTok followers there are on TikTok. I have the oldest TikTok average age following. I can guarantee that. I'm pretty sure. All right,
all of the boomers that discovered that their kids downloaded TikTok onto their phone.
Exactly. What's this? All right, let's go ahead and introduce our guest. Her name is JJ. She hails from a hospital from parts unknown, and she's going to give us some rundown. I want to introduce her, bring her up, and have her kind of tell what she does and what she's been seeing, and then we'll ask some questions as we go, just to get a little truth out there. So, ladies and gentlemen, Nurse JJ.
Hi.
JJ, what's going on?
Hey, how's it going?
Doing pretty good. I wanted to put you as the guest up into the middle of the screen and then knock our one black host down just because, you know, we do live in apparently a white supremacist world. So just kidding. We like to have a little fun. Cots Revengers, we have a lot of fun. This one, we try to keep it pretty serious. But and if any of your friends are watching right now, JJ, they're like, what kind of show did you get herself on right now? But we do take things very serious, especially when it comes to COVID. So I want to know, first off, how long have you been a nurse, and anything else you would like to disclose about yourself? And then let's talk, you know?
Sure. I've been a nurse for 19 years. I work currently in an emergency room at a local hospital. Not really going to disclose that information just to protect my job. But that's basically what I've been doing. I love my job. It's very rewarding to help people that are in need, and I just get a lot out of it. And I'm just sad to see these patients going through such a hard time, and just being there to be able to pray for them and help them and give them as much knowledge that I know that I've researched myself from looking at other podcasts and webinars and all the information that I've gathered, and from what I've seen currently that's going on in my emergency room. I just need to get the truth out there so that people are better educated. Like we said, we're being censored. They don't want the truth to be known. And so I feel very passionately about this, as well as about, this whole mandate vaccine that they're trying to push now on us at work. So I'm very thankful for you to let me communicate that to your viewers.
Absolutely. So obviously right now we're seeing this massive spike across the country. They're politicizing it as usual. It's blasting out in the media. And I've talked to, since you and I talked on the phone, I've made it a point to speak to as many nurses and doctors as possible. And yes, the spike is 100% real. There's a lot of people coming in. I think it's ironic that, the vaccine was supposed to prevent anything like this. What are you seeing in your hospital in terms of numbers? Are you guys running low on beds? What are you seeing right now?
Yeah, we're pretty full in our hospitals. One other hospital had to go on diversion the other day because we just didn't have any beds. We've been having multiple emergency room holds, meaning that we just don't have anywhere to put them. So they end up taking space in the emergency room, which basically puts, other people at risk, just because we can't move effectively. And it holds people up from getting treated. So we're trying to rectify that. I think it's getting better a little bit. We're currently seeing anywhere around 25 to 28 patients a day that are testing positive. Not all of those are being admitted. Just like I would say maybe 5 or 6 out of those are being currently admitted. Now, the ones that are being admitted most of them have pre-existing conditions, such as diabetes, high blood pressure, obesity. Those are the 3 big things. And then COPD, like if they have had like any type of lung, if they've been smokers or anything like that has damaged their lungs, they're not going to fare very well. Now, relatively healthy people, I haven't yet to see really hardly any with pre-existing conditions being admitted.
Without pre-existing conditions.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, and some of the things, and interestingly enough, have you guys changed your policy since we talked? Because when we first talked, the hospital's intake forms were not actually even asking if people were vaccinated, which obviously starts to skew the numbers. So what were those original forms? What did they say on those?
So the triage form reads, it says, have you had a COVID vaccine in the last 7 days? It does not state whether you've had a COVID vaccine. It doesn't ask, have you had a COVID vaccine, yes or no? It just says, have you had one in the last 7 days? I took that to upper management because I was concerned that we were not tracking those that had been vaccinated, because we don't know what if they come up with abdominal pain or even chest pain, if it's related to the COVID shot. I was thinking like, this is an experimental vaccine and we're not tracking it effectively. And, patients could be, dying, but it's not being tracked effectively. And so that's a high concern for me as a healthcare provider to help my patients because, I'm for life. I want to save lives. And, if this is something that's being detrimental to your body, it needs to be stopped. So we need to be tracking more effectively. They have not changed that form yet. I have talked to upper management about it. They said they're going to work on it. When they say the numbers, they say, oh, well, 96% that are currently hospitalized have been unvaccinated. But I'm like, well, if you're not asking the appropriate question in triage, how are you tracking it? So that would be my question to them. Are you really tracking it effectively? And are those numbers correct? In Israel, I mean, it's all over anywhere on the internet. You can Google it yourself. But it says, they're in hospitalizations. The current number is like in the 90 percentile of those that have been vaccinated that are currently hospitalized. That is crazy. And same thing with Massachusetts. They said their ICU is mainly the vaccinated patients, those that have been vaccinated. And so I'm seeing too patients coming in that have been vaccinated that are having COVID. So evidently the shot isn't working. It's not effective. Now the argument would be, I know many people would say the argument is, well, the COVID vaccine doesn't really prevent infection. However, it prevents you from being hospitalized. But we're still seeing hospitalizations with those that have been vaccinated. So that's not true.
Yeah. I don't know why Joe Biden's statements have not been censored by the internet or by social media, because he has specifically said that you cannot get overly sick from if you're vaccinated, which has been completely proven false. Kevin's got a question. Kevin, go ahead.
Yeah, my reading of that was more or less that, whatever level you reach, without the vaccine, you would have gone to the next level. So if you're in the hospital with the vaccine, chances are you probably would have had a case bad enough to die. I don't necessarily read it as, the vaccine isn't protecting, because the claim never was it would stop you 100%.
Sure.
I just want to know, have you seen less hospitalizations during this high period or more than the previous high points before the vaccine came out?
So we're actually seeing, they're saying, I was just on a call today with work and they were giving me the numbers, and they said that there's actually an increase that we're seeing. This surge is a little bit worse than the previous surge. That was before the vaccines came out. So this is actually a worsening since the vaccine has come out.
Have the
concern.
deaths remained the same?
No, so it's actually an increase since the vaccines have been released. Correct.
See, that's the kind of information that would actually be pertinent to the data that I'm trying to come up. Like my statement there, with your data that the death increases, my statement is no longer valid. And that kind of stuff. How much are you guys reporting to VAERS?
I don't know that answer, actually. So that is a good question. I think it's up to the patient, too, to be able to go to their website and report adverse reactions. Now, speaking of adverse reactions, I have seen personally as a nurse possible adverse reactions to this vaccine. Now, they say, oh, well, you don't know if it's from the vaccine or if it's from pre-existing conditions. That's their argument. However, you can't tell me otherwise. You can't say whether it wasn't for sure. So it's either, so we don't know. That's the thing. And so I have seen personally patients come in with chest pain. I just had two the other day come in with chest pain, and they had the Pfizer vaccine a few weeks ago. So is it related? It possibly is, because studies are now showing that it's causing the spike protein goes into the, they inject you with the protein from the virus, which is the spike protein. It goes into the muscle of the arm, travels, supposed to stay in the arm, supposedly, right? Because it's encoded and all these things. But what they're doing, there was an autopsy of a vaccinated patient, and it did show systemic inflammation into the ovaries, the testes, the heart, lung, and kidneys. Therefore, there's many physicians that have said that with the accumulation of this spike protein, it's causing all this inflammation. And what it does is it accumulates, and then the blood will clump. They've actually done a blood sample study of a vaccinated patient, and they have, our red blood cells are supposed to be perfectly rounded, and these were like elongated and clumped together. So that's what the vaccine will do to your red blood cells, and therefore that's why we're seeing blood clots. And also D-dimer elevation in patients that have been vaccinated has been showing very frequently that we're doing also that I'm seeing, and has also been reported on different webinars that I've been on, which shows microclotting. So what we'll do is we'll CTA a chest, right? Because if they have chest pain, we want to make sure they don't have a blood clot in their lung. So we do a CTA of the chest. Well, that's going to be negative because the blood clots are so small, they can't be seen. And so over a period of time, they're saying that people are going to end up dying either of like right-sided heart failure or of blood clots in and of itself. So that's a very scary thing that I'm seeing currently. Now, I did have a patient too. I want to mention this because he came in with left-sided weakness, sudden onset in his 30s. And what happened was we did a CT and MRI. Both were negative, and he had the Pfizer vaccine 2 weeks prior. So it was just unreal. And when I was driving home, I was thinking about that. And then I get home and I get on this other, on the webinar, just looking at different things on Safe Chat and stuff. And there was this video of this girl. She had the Pfizer vaccine 2 weeks prior, and she ended up with paralysis from the waist down. So that is highly concerning. No pre-existing conditions. Perfectly
bar, right?
Individual. So that's what we're seeing. So then I thought, well, that's probably, it was like, wow, the light went on, like, oh my gosh, it was probably from this vaccine that he had, that's causing, because they're seeing a lot of neurological problems, altered mental status changes, difficulty walking. I've seen that in the emergency room. We've also seen, redness at the insertion site, going down the arm pain. We've been seeing, heart arrhythmias. Patient was in like a VTAC, which is a very fatal rhythm, and they're talking to me. And I'm like, I have never seen that in my 19 years of nursing. That is crazy. So to see certain things like that, like different heart arrhythmias, we know that the J&J vaccine has been known to cause heart inflammation, especially in children and kids, teenagers. Teenagers are dying. EMS person told me the other day he had a 16-year-old that had the Pfizer shot, and he died of a heart attack. No pre-existing conditions.
We had a friend of ours, friend of Kelly and I's that runs in rodeo, that is a healthy late 20s, I believe, that had to get the vaccine because Canada, she was running in the Calgary, rodeo, and they have to be vaccinated, obviously, to go to Canada. And she spent 2 weeks in and out of the hospital immediately following the shot.
Wow.
2 weeks.
It's Guillain-Barré, right, that they're starting to notice in a lot of the vaccine risk when they see the nerve damage?
And that's correct. And I did have a patient. Yes, so that we are seeing as well. We did have some patients come in that looked like they were having a stroke, but they ended up having the Guillain-Barré syndrome, where it looks like they're having a stroke, but it's not. So they had the Pfizer shot as well. I think the Pfizer shot, I'm seeing a lot of things with the Pfizer vaccine, actually. So, and with all of them, actually, I mean, Moderna as well as the J&J, we've seen, the clots and stuff. So,
so the one thing I want to back up on, you said something after I spoke with you about the whole concept that they are not, this was a few minutes ago, talking about when in triage, they're not filling out the paperwork. So I'm like, how are they coming up with these statistics? So again, I started to ask around, and out of the 11 or 12 people I asked between doctors and nurses, 2 had this had a system in their hospital. One was a doctor I spoke with that legitimately said, we're still in the process of figuring out how to do this. This was a couple days ago. This is well after all these percentages have come out of thin air. And then out of the 11 or 12 people I spoke with, only one had not seen an adverse reaction. Only one had not seen at least one adverse reaction. Kevin, go ahead.
I also want to, because part of what's going through my head is when you have 160 million or however many we have vaccinated, you're still going to see all the normal health abnormalities you would normally see. So unfortunately, an athletic 16-year-old dying of a heart attack is actually the #1 killer of professional athletes around the world because of as you know, enlarged hearts and stuff like that don't usually get diagnosed until the heart attack. And so I would want to ask, like, are we just seeing a lot of people who were vaccinated who are also having the same kinds of problems they would normally have? Or is this a direct result of the vaccine? Does it bring about more of these things? And the problem is no one wants to answer that question.
I don't know.
Tough one to answer, because especially if they have pre-existing conditions, and that's what the argument is with the upper management. They want to say, well, you can't prove that it's from the vaccine. And so you can't prove that it wasn't either. So it's like a back and forth, was it or wasn't not? What we do know, and what they're showing, like I said, in the autopsies, is showing that this vaccine does not stay in the arm, that it's going throughout the whole body and causing possible infertility as well. I mean, this is a very dangerous thing that I think that there still needs to be a lot of studies needs to be done. I think instead of pouring money into other things, they have to pour money into this and to give us the truth that we as Americans deserve. And especially when it comes, where do I want to go? I want to talk to also, I don't know if I mentioned this, but I'm not seeing any person that comes in my ER that's been reinfected with COVID as well. So I'm not seeing any of that.
So there's that big question of what's better, natural immunity or the vaccine, and new articles coming out from University of Texas and Johns Hopkins are saying, trust us, the natural immunity is not as good as the vaccine. However, the articles that talk about that natural immunity is stronger and better have statistics to back it up, whereas the ones that I read in Johns Hopkins literally used the phrase, and I want to quote it real quick because I thought this was absolutely insane. Why is it that the vaccine leads to better immunity than natural infection? And this is in the study from Johns Hopkins. The honest truth is, we don't know. The immune system of people who have been infected has been trained to target all these different parts of the virus called antigens. So you've got a research study by Johns Hopkins saying, the honest truth is, we don't know. In the same article, it literally says that the natural immunity has 6 to 8 months of efficacy, and it says that the vaccine has a year. We haven't made it a year yet. There's no way to actually, it's complete and utter fabricated data, and nobody see it because all they're doing is hearing them say it's this way or the other. But now, JJ, your actual example, you're saying that you have not seen any people that have had COVID be hospitalized at your hospital, correct?
Correct. Yeah, I have not seen that yet, which is great. I mean, it's a wonderful thing. God created our immune system to respond to these foreign invaders. Basically it's common science. And I don't understand why the government and the media is trying to suppress our, the idea of natural immunity. I mean, when it first came out, my own mom, she saw it on NBC News or one of those shows that she watches, and it states that those that have had the COVID shot, the vaccine isn't recommended for those that have had. Those that have had COVID, the vaccine is not recommended for those that have had COVID because of herd immunity. They were all, remember how it was back in the day? They were all talking, if we get a certain number of herd immunity, all will be well. Remember that? And so, and I think wearing masks too, I think that kind of inhibits us from getting herd immunity because it's restricting us from other virus particles or what have you. So when we take off the mask and then get those particles in us, our immune systems, will respond more dramatically because guess what? The mask is off. And now all of a sudden our immune system's like, whoa, what are all these particles? You know what I'm saying? So I just don't think that masks are effective. Number one, you have to have an N95 or higher to prevent virus particles from going through. And even that, I think that my husband found an article that said it's only 75% effective.
I found a research study recently about the cloth masks that were all of a sudden being required to wear again that have a 97% failure rate. It's got a 3%. It increases your chance of protection by 3%. 3%.
The neck gaiters that you see people wear actually increase the spread. They aerosolize it to the point where it becomes easier to spread. So I also think that one's pretty ironic as well.
And we're back doing this whole mask game bullshit. So we only have you for about 10 more minutes. So I just want to, this is a good question that Eric asked. And this is going to lead into the fact about your vaccination status and what's going on with a mandate in your specific area and what the conversation is. So what do the administrators versus doctors say? Is there a divide, or are they kind of lock and step about the realities of how this virus should be treated?
So are you talking about the mandate basically of the vaccine?
More about the actual treatment methods inside of the hospital, like their beliefs, the beliefs about the mandated vaccines for everybody, the beliefs on utilizing other therapeutic methods, remdesivir, all the different things. What's the general consensus inside the hospital?
So the main thing is what we're doing is if a patient meets submission criteria, that means 88% on room air oxygen level, and they have increased shortness of breath, or showing the COVID pneumonia on X-ray. All these things have to take place, and they just are just needing oxygen. Therefore, they are admitted, and they usually give them Remdesivir IV, and then they give them sometimes ivermectin. Some providers are not gung-ho about that. So some providers are not prescribing that, some are. And then there is...
but your hospital system is occasionally using it, correct?
Yes, correct.
How has that worked? How has that been, what have you seen as the efficacy and early use of the I word?
I've seen great results with the ivermectin, especially if it's early enough. But see, what's happening is the patients are coming in and they're not getting, our providers are not even prescribing them anything. So they're telling them, of course, to take increased doses of vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc. But they're not giving them a prescription of like the hydroxychloroquine and the azithromycin that have been shown to prove highly effective. I guess one study out of many studies came out that showed that it was, having some adverse reactions of some sort. So the pharmaceuticals took it off. I believe, it's all about the money. There's not money in the hydroxychloroquine because it's really cheap. It's like $5 over the counter, in certain countries. And so there's no money in it. So where's the money at? It's in the vaccine. That's just my opinion and basically what is pretty true. Maybe anyone can know that. So ivermectin is fairly cheap as well. So there's no money in that. However, it's highly effective. According to a lot of studies, you can research that yourself. What else? But yeah, so I get mad that social media and the government is not telling us ways to prevent COVID by doing the high doses of vitamin D, vitamin C, and zinc daily. Don't wait till you get infected. Do it now. Now's the time to keep your body and your immune system very healthy. Get adequate amounts of sleep. At least try to get 8 hours of sleep. But me, I don't usually get that. Maybe 6 to 8. And then drink lots of water. Stay well hydrated. Exercise. At least try to do 30 minutes a day. I think that's great for the cardiovascular system and that whole immune system as well.
And you said your doctors in hospital, when you're giving these, you guys are actually advocating for natural health as a hospital system, telling people the best way to stay out of the hospital right now is vitamin D, is essentially what you just said, and being healthy. So this is not just a weird woo-woo naturopath thing. This is actually what hospitals are saying, yet you will not once hear it on mainstream media or the news. It's being proclaimed by hospitals to take care of yourself and do healthy things. I think that's very important to hear.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead, Kevin. Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to just briefly discuss the vaccine hesitancy so that give you some information to arm yourself with, especially JJ, working around a lot of PhDs and stuff, or MDs, people that have doctorates, what have you. The single largest group of people that are vaccine hesitant, according to studies by University of Pittsburgh and Carnegie Mellon, are people with PhDs. People with the people that we are supposed to be trusting on this kind of stuff are the most vaccine hesitant. I just think that should be thrown out there for knowing that they like to denigrate us as idiots, as imbeciles. Number one group is supposedly the most educated group in our country. They're the most vaccine hesitant among us.
That's interesting. And I noticed it said the black population as well, because let's see how good the Tuskegee experiment went
Oh
for
my
40
God.
years. Which to me, this is a direct. It's got to be a direct relation. The black population is at like 28% or 30% right now, and they got to be like, yeah, you tried this shit on us before.
21% in New York. Yeah, no. The idea when I see people on the left giving black people crap for not getting the vaccine, I'm like, you have to be so ignorant of the history of the treatment by the government of black people in this country to even think it's okay to suggest you should get it because the government says so. Well, they had this little syphilis thing they did to us a while back too that they were trying to get around. Like,
so I got to ask now, JJ, let's talk about the mandates. And Suni, I want you to pipe in on this one now, because active military is now going to be mandated. So this is kind of going to be your guys' area. JJ, you are not vaccinated.
I am not. I had COVID back in November, and I believe in natural immunity. I had my antibodies tested last week. I will get those results this week. But even if I don't have antibodies, I do not trust this vaccine. There's I do want to mention openbears.com. Anyone can go to that. It's linked to the CDC website. They are showing that there's been over 1 million adverse reactions to this vaccine and over 12,000 deaths. There has been like a CDC whistleblower supposedly that has said that rate is much, much higher. Because like I said, how are we tracking it? My hospital's not tracking it very well. And I'm not sure about other hospitals. I can't speak for them. However, if my hospital isn't, I'm pretty sure, most others aren't. And so it's just sad. These numbers are so skewed and it's highly misleading.
Suni, what do you think about the fact that, and what are you doing about it? We haven't had a chance to talk since we knew it was coming. I mean, I think one time, Suni, you said, well, until it's FDA approved, they're probably not going to do it. But, well, we saw that that's absolute bullcrap. So what's the discussion in your family right now?
Until they say anything in our command, in our squadron, it's not mandated. They can say all day and put it in the press and headlines, we are mandating these things. Nobody has received orders to go get vaccines, which means it's not mandated.
No shit.
If it was mandated, my children wouldn't have to go get it, and I wouldn't have to go get it, but every service member would be mandated today. It's not mandated. They can talk all they want. Go ahead, talk about it. But until we get orders from the commander on Kadena, stop. Look, I don't let COVID rule my life. Everybody knows this. I don't talk about COVID. I don't care about COVID. I don't care about these vaccines. I'm going to live life the way I feel like I want to live life. I don't wear a mask. So until the base commander, the squadron commander sends an email, I'm chilling. And send an email if you want to. I'm going to use the exemption and say, test my antibodies first. You're not giving me a shot. We have exemptions. The military knows their rights, and they're not going to stand for anything. And the people that haven't gotten the vaccine, they have down days. They talk about these things. And it's a matter of course, it comes from the Pentagon, and you have to follow orders at the end of the day. But they have not mandated anything yet. They're just in talks of it.
Even though, okay. And JJ, you were saying that there's a Facebook group regarding what you guys are going through, and because you are as of November 12th required. You also said there's a couple dates where you could start putting in exemptions. So explain that right now with the hospital system that you're a part of.
So they said that we can file exemption starting August 16th. Those forms will be available. We have to submit those forms by October 1st. They will let us know October 12th or by October 12th whether they approve our exemption or not. And then November, if we do not comply by November 12th, what they have said, and I will repeat this, they said that we are basically agreeing to voluntarily resign from our jobs. So I said, no, that's not what I'm agreeing to. I don't agree to quit my job. What I'm saying is I do not, I state no to the vaccine. That's what I'm saying. To the experimental vaccine, by the way, that they're trying to implement, that they have no, I'm like, you guys need to do your research and show me your research first and how safe and effective, because what they're saying, what the wording that they're using is saying that this is safe And for the safety of our employees and for the community at large, we are requiring our employees to be vaccinated. And then they're using this whole religious thing as well, which is aggravating because, I have a very strong faith system in the Lord, and for them to say that they have more acceptance into this vaccine because they say that, for the safety and for saving lives, basically, they think that this vaccine is going to save so many lives. So the benefits outweigh the risk, or the benefits outweigh their belief system, basically, because the Catholic faith, as we know, is pro-life, and I'm pro-life as well. I don't, I'm against using aborted fetal cells. I don't think that that's a great thing. So I was going to try to do a religious exemption on that, but then they kind of, they know that most of us would do that. So it was like a slam dunk on that. It was like, don't even try that. We're going to, go against that sort of thing. So I'm going to try the medical exemption and use my antibodies. And then my family does have some blood clotting as well. So I think that might help. And then I have a heart problem with SVT, it's supraventricular tachycardia. So I'm hoping that will help me with the medical exemption aspect, and my doctor is willing to sign off on it. So
it should be good.
Yeah.
What's the real quick? Suni asked, and for everybody out there, and I want to do 1.5 really quick questions. What are the vitamins that you would recommend that everybody have on hand and be taking prophylactically at this point?
So I would say, the vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc. Those three are huge. And so I would do at least 5,000 units of vitamin D, high levels of vitamin C, and then get zinc supplement. And I would do that daily. I wouldn't wait until you get COVID. This is a preventive mechanism. And when you do get COVID, do those three as well. You might want to up your dose a little more. And then also want to check with your doctor to see if they can prescribe you the hydroxychloroquine and the azithromycin as a prophylaxis, or even ivermectin.
You can, not that any of those work, just to be very clear for YouTube's policies, those don't work. They're terrible. They don't work. But regardless, if you do want to order them, if you go to American Frontline Doctors, their website, you can actually order it from there. You could have a prophylactic supply. So that's one way to do it.
Ivermectin is freely available. It's like $1, less than $1 a dose or something like that.
It's a little pricier now if you get it for the humankind, but you can get horse ivermectin. Again, I would tell you not to get any. No, it's the other one. But regardless, guys, I'm going to tell you right now that none of these work. None of these work. Okay, I just have to say that for all because again, this is probably going to get taken down. All right, so the other thing, let's see. Oh, yeah. Question I was going to ask is, well, first off, finish that last thing. So right now, and I think it's interesting that nurses are fighting back against being required to take the vaccine. So with that said, you guys have a Facebook group of like 900 people that are in your hospital system not wanting to take it. But the cool part that I think is you said you guys have about 3,000 signatures of people that are vaccinated, some of which are vaccinated, that are standing behind you guys to keep your jobs. Because right now, it's not just beds are an issue. It's actually the amount of nurses that are there to help patients. So tell a little bit about that and how, why are these people standing up, even the ones that are vaccinated?
Because we believe in freedom. It's all about freedom of choice. And so, what happened to my body, my choice? You talk about that. Well, you're talking about an experimental vaccine that's not even FDA approved yet. Even if it is FDA approved, there's so many things you can go on. Like I said, openbears.com. It's right there for you. You can research it, and it'll tell you that there have been over 1 million adverse reactions. It says it, and over 12,000 deaths. That number is there. And so I just don't believe that, this vaccine should be mandated because it takes away our religious rights too. And then also our just rights as Americans. I've never seen, it's just crazy. I honestly, I'm like, are we living in America today? I think, it's almost like it's a communist world, which I believe it is. They're basically sticks, and they say, oh, you do have a choice. But I'm like, no, I don't, because you're threatening my job. You're threatening my security, my livelihood. And I don't think that, and that's another thing. I talked to like a lot of people that have had this vaccine, right? A lot of them, even my nurse friends, they now state that they regret taking it. She said, I regret it when they put it in my arm. I wish they could take it out, the instant that it went in. And so they're all for, standing up for us. Most everybody, because they believe that we should have a choice. They don't think that this should be a mandate. We should be able to make decisions as individuals, and that's taking away our freedom, and it's against the Constitution. I mean, I really do feel it's against the U.S. Constitution.
It should be. So my last thing, and Kevin, go. Actually, you know what? Mine will be last. Go ahead, Kevin. What's up? What do you got?
I was just going to say they once used the precedent on the Supreme Court is that it is legal to mandate a vaccine. However, the disease they were combating was killing around 30% of our population.
Right.
So it's a little bit different circumstances than what we're seeing.
Just real quick, people need to start doing what Canada did on Alberta. Prove to me that there's actually a virus killing people.
Yeah, because there's no flu. 38 million flus down to JJ. How many people have you had with the flu come in this year?
Okay, so that's maybe 2, 3. I mean,
that's crazy.
Almost none. It's really non-existent because
you've been doing this for 19 years. How many flus do you usually see a year come in?
Oh gosh, many. So like, even before COVID, before that, we would see, gosh, I don't even know the number. It was high, definitely. And now it's like, oh, where'd the flu go, everyone? Well, now the CDC, I don't know if you guys saw that, but the PCR tests are showing that it's now the FDA has found that the test the people that have tested positive could be from the flu.
Exactly.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like you could have the flu, but oh wait, it's positive, so now they have COVID, but it could be.
Yeah.
Who knows? Flu, COVID,
Right, because and the PCR test, it's funny, they're now protecting the PCR test in some of the news outlets. I read that today. They're like, we didn't strip the EUA because it wasn't accurate. We just realized there were quicker, just as accurate methods. I'm like, no, that's not the news. It was presented literally a week ago. It was they were taking too many viral cycles, and it was showing that anything was COVID. And ultimately, is COVID worse than the flu? Yes and no. It's worse than the flu because it's a really bad version of the flu, plain and simple. And the flu does kill people. This one is just a really shitty, deadly flu. Let's be honest.
It's okay. Look, I had COVID. I had COVID before they were calling it COVID. All right.
You're always ahead of the curve. Always ahead of the curve.
It just happens to Black people first. We're always disproportionately affected. So.
Operation, yeah. So the somebody in the comments earlier said that they were deathly ill in November of 2019, and then when COVID started coming out, they tested this person for antibodies, and they tested positive for antibodies, which means they had it in November. Crazy enough. All right, I want to get this one question out because I think this is very newsworthy and pertinent. I know I'm terrible at this. We've kept you much longer than I expected. Sorry about that. But the last question, because this is now like Joe Rogan's talking about it. I've seen it on different shows where there's doctors speaking out that the Vernon the Vernon whatever school district, the guy came and talked about it. Is there discussions that, right now it's the middle of the summer. There's over 50% of our population is vaccinated. And originally the vaccinations were supposed to stop the spread. And now all of a sudden it's just simply to mitigate risk, which makes me wonder why, whatever. So is there discussions that the vaccine could potentially be causing the variants to mutate?
Yes. So I have not heard that personally among my providers that I work with, but I have heard that on webinars that I've been on. So I will say that, but my hospital is not testing for the Delta variant. I have asked the lab personnel, I've asked the doctors, and they said it's too expensive. So we are not testing for the Delta variant at my hospital. Now, if my hospital or Ascension wide is not testing for it, then, or other hospitals are not testing, then I it's just not going to be there. So, that's a big concern, if we're not testing. So that's a big concern.
Yeah.
So now those numbers are skewed. So it's like, well, how are they getting this variant? And then they come out with this other variant and this other name for this other thing. And it's like, wait a second, people, are we even testing for these different things? I thought COVID's COVID, you know what I'm saying? So it just doesn't make any sense.
But now it's evolving, and they're saying this quote-unquote Delta variant is a little bit more aggressive with those that are vaccinated, which literally, from a sense of logic and common sense, if the Delta variant is a higher contagious level or a better chance of being caught when you have the vaccine, wouldn't that mean, because viruses are living things? Viruses are something that evolve over time. This is a known fact. So if there is research being done that a vaccinated individual that still gets it is actually the way that the strain has evolved and could be doing this. I think that leaving, and Jay, as some of you guys probably see, Jay is like, prove it to me, in some of the comments we've had, Liberal Jay. And ultimately it's not proving. I'm not 100% sure, but to say that it's complete stupidity and malarkey is incorrect. There is a lot of specialists coming out saying that there is a chance. And that's why I was wondering if anybody in your hospital has had that discussion.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've got some other great topics to talk about. Infrastructure plan, Cuomo, God bless him, said nobody ever. And yeah, we'll talk about the police too. So JJ, do you have any final words for people? And I think as the next few weeks unravels, I do want to bring you back. I loved watching the amount of viewers increase as we were talking about COVID. And now that we got a whole bunch out, next time we could probably bring you on for 20 minutes, give a quick update, and that'll be super helpful. So any final words for the audience?
I would say, just, keep searching for the truth. I think I tell my patients, you need to do your own research before taking this vaccine, and make your own decision for yourself and for your family. But like I said, I've as a nurse, I've seen way too much, and I know too much to be able to willingly take this vaccine. So I will fight the mandate. As well, and those that are facing mandates, I highly encourage you to fight that. Don't give in. You need to fight it and stand up for your freedom, because if we give in, if we constantly give in, we're not going to be free in this world, in America. So I just stand up for your freedom and take your vitamins, and stay healthy. Yeah, I think that'll be good.
You are awesome. And hopefully we can have you back soon. Cool, JJ?
Cool.
All right. Thanks. Stay safe out there. Take it easy.
Okay, bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Oop, that was the opposite thing. Yeah. All right. So before we get completely off I just want to share this video because, Liberal Jay, he sometimes says he's going to come on. We never have him. He disappears. He's busy with work.
Scared of me.
He loves to keyboard warrior, but there's this whole thing. He is not. There's this whole thing that is going on about, is this these forced mandates Nazi Germany? And then people say absolutely not. I'm like, these are the same people that were saying Trump was Hitler. And I'm like, honestly, if you look at the history of Nazi Germany, this is the closest match we have. And I'm going to bring this up real quick because this is a reminder of a woman that was in the Holocaust. And this is how they originally, not at the end game, but this is how they originally separated people. So I'm going to go ahead and open that up.
I was only 3.5 when my family and I were evicted from our home and deported to a concentration camp. Fear of infectious epidemics was exactly what the Nazis used to demonize Jews as spreaders of disease. Today, the unvaccinated are being accused of being spreaders of disease. I was only 3.5.
Take it from the horse's mouth on this one. This sounds like the early playbook of Nazi Germany. Am I wrong?
No, I've called it out for years.
But they thought that Trump was Hitler because he was an asshole. Like,
because the media told him. That's why. These people they don't know about history from 2 months ago, let alone Germany history for what happened with the Nazis.
Well, yeah, they forgot. They tried to tell everybody, hey, the vaccine, you're going to have freedom if you go get the vaccine. And now we're taking it away.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, like, the problem is that people are just so dishonest, even when they don't even know it. It's the dishonesty of the media in calling Trump, so that when the real signs start presenting themselves of fascism, we don't recognize them, right? You devalue it so significantly that by the end of the day, you don't recognize it when it's happening, because if Trump is Hitler, then my gosh, like I guess the brown shirts are walking around my streets at this point, like just wearing police. People are so dishonest. Trust me, if honesty was the name of the game, the vaccine would be there would be a lot more people looking into the vaccine, because if you can just honestly report and say, look, if you are under this age without the comorbidities, we suggest that you do your best to try to get the disease. And if you have the comorbidities, get the vaccine. We are not very sure. Here are the statistics. If you want to get the vaccine, you can. What we're going to try to do at this point is gather data to let you know the true efficacy of this thing. All we know is that it is better than COVID, I guess, is what they could have said, but they're dishonest. And because of their dishonesty, these problems just grow worse and worse. And
we'll end if Casey's got something else to say, but we'll end COVID right now. But Trump pushed the vaccines, and I talked about it then. His push, and I don't think this is good nor bad, because I think it would have been important for him to be in office right now. But it was a political move, and unfortunately, he needed to get the vaccine done, which it was done. It was this version of the vaccine. It was done in October. It's no coincidence that on November 5th. They announced that the vaccine was now ready for distribution right after the election. There's no doubt about it. Also, he made some deals with Big Pharma where he was supposed to be working with Kennedy. What's the Robert Kennedy? He was supposed to be working. No, what's the one with
Louisiana,
the bad throat? And he does a lot of. He's not anti-vax. He's anti this vaccine. The heck's his name? Is it Robert Kennedy Jr.? I don't know. Anyways, so he actually had a partnership going with Trump that Trump pulled the rug on for a big pharma company, and it made this. He started pushing the vaccine area, and honestly, I think it was political. I don't think it's right, but at the same time, he was trying to win an election that I think was very important at the time. As much as I disagree with it, but that's it.
Additionally, a lot of people, their argument is that if you reduce the government regulation, you would be able to see this kind of stuff from a private pharmaceutical industry, right? There is an argument to be made that this is exactly what we should be seeing, a vaccine in this amount of time. So, it's we'll see. The thing is, just where's the long-term data? That's all I'm asking for.
Yes, sir. All right. What do you guys want to talk about? I mean, we got Suni petting her I don't want to say the wrong word, her cat, and she's covering up her police shirt. I didn't even think about, I was on the show with Chelly last night, obviously. We could talk a little bit about police. Let's do a little fun story about the crap that's, oh my God, this cat. Hold on, do that again. Do that again.
Look at how cute he is. Say hi. Say hi.
God, I'm a cat. I love cats, but that thing looks scary. His eyes look scary as shit. Okay. Let's talk really quick about the Rockies. Does everybody know this story? Suni and Casey, I know Kevin does. Do you know about the story with the Rockies?
No,
okay,
I have no clue.
You're going to like this one, Suni. Kevin, go ahead and tell the story, because it shows the laughableness of our country right now.
Yep.
So go ahead.
So Denver has this baseball team called the Rockies, and the Rockies have this mascot named Dinger. Well, a Marlins baseball outfielder was at bat, and he happens to be of African-American descent-ish, I guess. And someone heard a word that sounded a lot like the N-word coming from the background. What followed was this giant witch hunt that led to the Rockies issuing a statement saying, we condemn racism in any and all forms, like pointing this guy
racial
out.
Slurs, yeah.
Like a YouTube, like a internet crusade against this guy, right? So they find him and they start asking him, and they're like, "So why, did you say the story?" He goes, "Dude, I was just trying to get the mascot's attention, man. Just like His name is Dinger. And then if you listen to the video, knowing their mascot is named Dinger, it's clear as day that is all that is being said. And so what did the Rockies do? They said, we're sorry. We still condemn racism in all its forms and think that everyone who is racist is a horrible person.
And then
Oh
they
my God.
donated $50,000 to some organization, I'm sure, just to make
Oh.
people happy too.
Nothing happened.
Did he have a southern voice? Maybe that's what confused people. Like,
Oh my
Danger! Danger!
It's Colorado, man. These are like this is. I will give Colorado its dues. This is the nicest state in America, man. The people here are freaking wonderful.
Okay,
Yeah,
let's
I
not.
don't mind Colorado.
If
Colorado's wonderful. Okay, but
I gotta say, I love Mike Lindell's spirit, but
Oh,
he is on
Michael
a.
Lindell's a shit,
I
man.
I just said I love his spirit, but he is gone past what he needs to be doing. If he believes so much in it, he needs to just be silent and working in the background. Like if that's, but he. God, when I hear him speak now, it's like because I really did. I like Lindell. I liked him even when he started talking about it. But now, like, if you see him, his eyes are crazy. He's like, no, what do you think? Why do you not feel this way? Are you? I'm like, oh God, I can't.
you
do
should
it.
stick to
Trust the
making
plan.
pillows. Stick to making pillows.
it's a tragic
Stay there.
story. This guy worked suffered from terrible addiction, had a horrible was doing horrible things in
Great
his life.
story.
Figured it all out, pushed through the addiction to build a multi-million,
Jeez.
incredibly, a fantastic company building a fantastic product. And the left
And
who
drugs melted his
screams
brain.
about arresting people with drugs is the worst thing. We need to work on rehabilitation and destigmatizing drugs. The first thing they always say about Mike Lindell is what? that old drug addict, that crack addict.
Yeah.
It's like,
Oh, he doesn't get a
he's-
fair shake at all.
so it's like it's not surprising
But
at
now he's
all
kinda
following years of just concentrated destruction by the internet on the people on the left. Dude, unfortunately, it would drive a lot of people crazy.
What was his drug of choice?
I think it was heroin or crack.
Oh,
like-
cocaine is a hell of a drug, you know?
Yeah,
Rick James
it's-
told us.
I don't know if you know this, Joe Rogan. I smoke rocks. All right.
I wanted to make a point about the Rockies thing earlier is that what it speaks to, and there was another incident that happened as well revolving around a video game, is this drastic disparity between supply and demand of racism in our country. Like there's a left, there's a left that is desperate for America to be just as racist as they claim it to be, just as horrible, just as just like poisonous, and it isn't. So anytime anything even slightly falling into that is pops up, it's like, oh my God, look guys, America's the worst. It's the most racist country in the world. See, we're right.
It's
After
turned
we
into
talk-
a grift.
It is.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
100. It's always been. That's why Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton make any money.
Can I
Facts.
point one more thing out that keeps happening within sports? Sports are bringing people back together. You notice, like people are actually starting to pay attention to sports, coming together, enjoying them, not really getting caught up into those things. And they keep trying to point these things out to bring more division and try to keep that division there because they got it with utilizing athletes and stuff because everybody disowned sports. They just like, I'm not watching it. I'm done with this league. I'm done with that league, blah, blah, blah. But people are starting to come back together and watch it again. And you're starting to see, oh yeah, more of these claims that are going to happen. Like we have it happen here in Utah all the time. Ever since we had the one incident with Westbrook, I couldn't spit out his name. That one incident, and it just keeps every little thing keeps coming up, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we condemn racism," blah 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 blah.
Oh my
And so they keep pushing for it, and we're gonna probably see a lot more of this. And it's all just to create more of a division for the system. That's what they're trying to do.
Yep.
So
Exactly.
just to answer this question, Pelosi has not announced that she is retiring next year. Now, if you go to a bunch of right-wing media, they will say that she is she's thinking about it. There's no actual news of that whatsoever. No real news. Is it possible? Absolutely. It's possible.
She is the most powerful person in that party. She is not going anywhere. She is literally responsible for 97% of all fundraising that goes to all congressional campaigns in the country.
By the way, once we slammed Mike Lindell, we lost 9 people. I feel like
Good.
that might have been the Q crowd. Not 90,
Okay.
just 9.
yeah, no, I mean,
All right,
a tragic story.
let's talk. Do you want to talk police or infrastructure?
I mean, I think this video would prove what we're saying as far as the left using racism. Like they are desperate to be racist, you know? Anytime a group of people is like gung-ho to admit they have white privilege, to say that you have some sort of superiority over another group of people, you're telling on yourself, man. You're telling on yourself, period. And there was an incident that happened with a police officer, Ella French, and she was unfortunately killed in the line of duty, shot by two 20-year-olds, and their mother decided to make several videos of her acting a complete fool because her sons decided to kill a cop. And her response was, this is probably the most disgusting thing I've seen in a minute. And we've seen a lot of disgusting things. And I'm going to pull this video up. I don't know if everybody's seen it.
I haven't.
It's absurd. That's all I can say, man. Like, just completely absurd.
This is the kid's mom?
This is her mother.
To be a voice for my boys, Eric and Monty Morgan. I want you to know I love you and your family loves you.
They shouldn't.
And you not alone. Know that shit. For everybody else, I just want to simply say there is another side, and my boy's side is not being told right now.
So tell it.
I cannot speak too much on it, but I will say this.
She ain't got shit to say.
Don't believe everything you hear and see.
Yeah.
It's fictitious.
Yeah.
And
there's a woman dead. It's not fictitious, you dumbass.
My boys are not monsters. What people trying to paint them to be at all. At all. There is another side. I don't believe a damn thing CPD says. And I can guarantee you this. My boys was afraid. I'm afraid. Our young black women, not only young black women and young black men, like I just said, I'm afraid. Adults are afraid of the CPD. And I'm clean. I'm not a criminal. My car is clean. I got insurance, all that. But if a cop get behind me, my heart drops.
All right.
It does for me
fear our police.
Because I don't want to get a fucking ticket.
We fear them.
So do you see what I'm saying? Like when I talk about how women are destroying the black community, you are looking at the majority of our households. We have an accountability issue. We have a culture issue. It has nothing to do with the fact that we're black, man. Like it doesn't. And I wish more people would get off the fucking train saying this stuff. She is showing what me and other black conservatives talk about 24/7. It is the black women in our communities that destroy not only the kids, they destroy the culture, they've destroyed morals, and they've destroyed their kids. Where is their dad? Where? You see videos of these boys, you know what they're doing? Throwing money in the air, and guess who's posting it? It's not them, it's their mom. All the dysfunctional stuff they do is plastered on her page. I implore you, go look at this woman's page.
Just so you guys know about whether or not, if you live in Chicago, if you should be more scared of the police or anything else so far in Chicago, 4 police shootings or 4, deaths by cop, 430 murders by gunshot so far this year. Just to get that out there. But to Suni, to your point, the big problem is that people, especially on the left, cannot separate race from culture. These ideas are synonymous. Therefore, someone's race is their culture. The problem is that if you do those two things, then you cannot say the lack of fathers and the terrible school system is not a product of bad culture without them thinking you are also saying it is because they are black. It is no, a culture is something that is abstract from who we are as a physical entity. 100%. It can be changed. It is 100%. Something that can be adjusted. It is something that can be made better. There are objectively terrible cultures in this world. And if you don't believe me, why don't we just plop down a map of the Middle East and start naming countries? Okay.
100%.
So this idea that that race and culture are somehow intertwined is just wrong, and it is broken, and it means you cannot actually legitimately identify the problems and address them, especially if you think that is impossible to do without yourself being somehow a racist. So we need to separate those two things.
Facts.
So yeah, go ahead.
I'm scared of the police. We scared when they pull up behind us.
I was going to ask if you're going to play this because I didn't know what I have not seen it. I haven't really been online at all. So
this is her in the hospital trying to get to her felon children that aren't children. Mind you, these guys are over 20.
Oh.
Don't touch me! Get away from me! Stop! 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 Put your hands behind you. Let me see my son! Please let me see it. Okay. Put your hands behind you. Put your hands behind you. Put your hands behind you. You're on the left.
So she's mad that her kids killed a cop. I'm so confused.
She's mad that police did their job.
We do need to be a little bit honest here. She is a mother that is finding out that her two children just did something that's probably going to either have them killed if there's a death penalty or put them away for the entirety of their life forever.
Not giving her that. I'm a mom.
Not giving her shit.
I give people the heat of the moment, not being able to understand your emotions. It's the stuff that comes after that I have a major problem with.
Are her kids still alive?
I believe so. Yeah. No. Again, so, I don't want to justify it.
I know what you're saying. Here's the thing: if they were severely injured, hanging on for dear life, even though they did something wrong, I could see a mom freaking out. These kids were. I think that they had scrapes and bruises when they got caught at most. That's about it.
They deserve to go away forever. Like,
right.
No joke.
So that literally, her lack of understanding of the magnitude of the situation is why her kids killed cops.
Yep.
And this video is 4 days later. This is not the heat of the moment. I just found out. And her video before this completely shuts down any sympathy for me. I'm scared of police. My kids didn't do nothing. They're not bad people. Yes, they are. Yeah. You are absolutely a bad person when you decide to take a police officer's life at that, man. Like, I know we don't value each other as Black folks, but for you to go and illegally, because he was a felon, get a gun and then turn it on to an officer. Come on, man. I understand it. I'm a mom, you know, and there are times when we are irrational. Our kids, you feel like your kids are in danger. You go into Mama Bear. You do. But in this situation, she gets none. She made four different videos of her acting a complete fool.
Mama Bear was that second video, but I agree with you wholeheartedly that video, the first video you showed, I don't think that one is heat of the moment. It's simply that video in the hospital, heat of the moment, not really understanding. That second one, to me, I agree with everything you say about it.
Yeah. I mean, you just said it. Until we hold Black folks accountable, this is what we're going to have forever. The cycle will continue.
Well, I tagged Suni in a post yesterday. I was like, is this for real?
Mike Brown.
Let's see. Yeah, the Michael Brown part. Today marks 7 years since Michael Brown was taken from this world, and it's a picture of him graduating from high school, of course. Let's see. Today marks 7 years since Michael Brown was taken from this world by a senseless act of gun violence and police brutality. If you're looking for a way to honor him, visit this group to support the important work his father, Michael Brown Sr., is doing in loving memory of his son. So this is again why, Michael Brown is not somebody that we should be honoring in any way, shape, or form. His family can still mourn him. And there's 90,000 people that like this post on Instagram, and I'm sure got shared all over the place. And people support this. Mm-hmm. Michael Brown was a criminal. He robbed a liquor store 5 minutes before he got in a fight with the police officer. His dumbass buddy decided to make a narrative that he had his hands up. And in the end, it turned out to be proven false by the same guy that made the statement. We have a completely false narrative for the last 7 years because of this whole idiotic situation. Is it sad he died? Yes.
Yeah.
It's sad when anybody dies. But fact is, we do not, if we stop celebrating fucking idiots, then this will stop. This will slowly stop. Go ahead.
Can I just want to address this comment.
Of course.
I'm black. I came from the hood. When I tell you, all right, most of my family are drug dealers, gang affiliated. I grew up around it. We don't give a fuck about each other. And I don't care what white person is offended behind what a black person is saying about their own community. It's a fact. Yeah. We would not be the most murderous group of people if, in fact, we valued and loved each other. We don't. Because of the three things that I listed earlier. Our culture is crap. Our morals is crap. And it has everything to do with mothers like her who don't hold their sons and daughters accountable. It also falls directly in line with the fact that fathers aren't in the home. So you be offended all you want behind a black woman standing up saying for what's right. That's the problem, man. I'm always going to stand up and say what's right. And I'm always going to stand in support when you are wrong.
And the media and media, I'll let you go in a sec, Kevin. So media is also an issue, as we always say. And this one isn't just the left media. So what everybody heard about this police officer was because of, I think it was Chicago Sun or one of their newspapers initially reported that she just got off maternity leave and has a newborn child. Completely false. Because they were trying to sensationalize a story. Like what happened, right or left, to actually reporting a story correctly instead of reporting it fast. And this is a microcosm of every issue we have in this country. Even though, you know what, whether she had a kid or not, it's still ridiculously sad. But come on, like get your reporting correct. And it was shared by, and I don't blame the people that shared it. This is off of a local news organization that should be accurate, and it was shared by a lot of the right-wing pundits. It was shared across the board, and people look like an idiot because media outlets have stopped giving a shit about their one responsibility, which is getting it right.
Yep. And to speak to your point, especially, Suni, how can you argue that, or not argue, why is it unbelievable that black communities don't value themselves properly ever since the Civil Rights Act, the Democratic Party has at all points done everything it can to remove any kind of value or equality that they actually have with white people. The whole war on poverty was geared by the Democrats to gain a permanent voting block in black people. When they are simply seen as a voting block and not individual people, when they're seen by the Democratic Party through their policy as a monolith whose the only thing that matters is we continue to get 90% of their vote every election. Why would it be so surprising that the people that are being subjected to that year in and year out wouldn't value themselves in return?
Heard that. All right, let's we got two more things to talk about, then we'll get out of here pretty quick. Cuomo has resigned. Not a day too soon. Como. I want to know how his brother is his brother's a newsman. He's got to report this. What is he going to do?
He's crickets right now. He's got his head so far stuck up his butt he doesn't know what to do.
Did you see the Waters World Chiron, by the way? I'm going to bring it up.
What?
No.
I'm going to bring it up.
Oh.
Bring it up. What was the other thing? Oh, yeah. But did you know Steven Crowder is in the hospital right now?
He
had back surgery. Man. He's doing better now.
Okay.
But yeah, he had some complications. He took on a bunch of water, and he's had to lose a lot of weight, is what his Telegram says. Telegram and Instagram.
Let me share this with y'all really quick. It's the greatest Chiron I've ever seen in my entire life.
Crowder's supposed to be back in September. Has been the whole plan all along.
I'm scared.
Let's see it. Where did it just go? There it is. Okay.
Notice she didn't comment not another word.
Oh, she rage quit after she sent that message. She's like, "Oh yeah, I'm out. I sent my message."
There it is.
A typical white liberal to jump in and be like, "You black women don't know what you're talking about. You just hate us all. I'm out. I'm gonna go back to doing white things."
All right. So I don't know if you're aware, but Cuomo at one point turned to being Italian. So the Waters World Chiron is Cuomo. I'm not perverted. I'm just Italian. It is wonderful. It is the
Russo, how do you feel about this, man? How do you feel, Kev? What's going on?
It's a bibbidi bobbidi. It's what we do.
Look at the cheeks. Look at you, so cute. Look at the cheeks. But nowhere in that is grabbing an ass. Now, I'll be honest. When I'm half Italian. I went and I met when I finally got to see my family when I was in my high school years. They made fun of me because I had no idea how to be Italian and do the cheek kiss and the cheek kiss and the this and that. Like we are very grabby people. Like I get it. And I got way better at it. But there's a huge difference between Italian greetings and like some of the photos you've seen of Cuomo where he's like face to face, like with like lips right in front of him. Like none of that is like part of the Italian handbook. The Italian handbook's kiss on both cheeks, kiss on one cheek, a big hug, pat on the back. Nowhere in it do you stick a thumb up anybody's butt or say that I can't hire somebody. Say that I can't hire somebody because they're not good looking enough. Granted, sometimes people think it, especially Italians, but you can't do that in the modern age.
Did you guys see my dating advice today? Did anybody catch it?
Oh, what
you
was
keep
it
saying
today?
Cheeks, and it took me back to my dating advice. Go check it out.
Talking about cheeks over there. Yeah.
Russo's about to pull it up.
No, what is it? I'm looking for it. What was it on? Your YouTube or on your Facebook?
No, it's on my Facebook. Yo, it's funny, man. I laughed. I cried after I finished reading it.
SUNY blanks.
Let's see.
I don't follow your Facebook page, Suni. I need to follow that.
Yeah,
Sorry,
man,
she's at her quota. She's at her quota of white people, Kevin. You can't.
Jeez,
Suni's dating advice for men: if she calls you daddy when you're clapping them cheeks, run, sprint, and do the dash. Because she clearly has daddy issues, and you aren't the first she said it to.
Oh, you guys
that is so true. That is so true.
That's
Yo,
funny.
you better hit the dash, man.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. God.
Your friend's back.
When daddy issues start rearing their
Here we
red
go.
flag head. Oh.
Listen, lady, if you want to talk to me about being black, hit me up. You're
Where are my
white.
glasses?
You don't have no motherfucking clue. And let me tell you, the legacy of slavery has nothing to do with how we're being treated or why our mental state is the way it is. I do not like. I do not like white people like this. If I saw you in person, bro, I would probably shoot the ones with you. Just straight off what you're saying, because it's disrespectful as shit. I'll tell you why many African Americans descended from slaves don't value themselves. Bitch, you just said it's racist to say we don't value ourselves. And now you're telling us why we don't? You want to see me pissed off? Put a racist white person in front of me and have them tell me why we do what we do. You don't know. Just like I can't talk about being white. You know why? Because I ain't white.
Well,
bruh. Yo, bring that ass here. You can come on the show and talk to me. Straight up. I'm not even on a fireball right now. You got me real turned up.
Hey, but don't worry. She's doing the Lord's work on her Facebook page. So she shared an article from CNN on July 31st talking about a black family's Manhattan Beach property was taken during the Jim Crow era, and the county is now giving it back. Cool.
Bruh, we're experiencing Jim Crow 2.0. Vaccinated, unvaccinated. 2.0. So you're gonna have the same energy for the unvaccinated people that are being oppressed?
Not in New York City, that's for damn sure.
She took all that time. She probably Googled that shit. You're gonna tell me why I feel worthless?
what
Bruh.
in the world?
It's passed down from generation to generation to generation.
Yeah.
That's funny.
It's not genetic. It's not genetic. It is purely environmental.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I really didn't mean to make this about this, but I cannot stand comments like that. Straight up. I don't have a problem with white people. Everybody knows that. But look, she almost made me say a racial slur. And I ain't said that since I've been back at home with my mama. I was straight up about to call her a racial slur. You pulling me back.
You were going to say cracker? Is that what
I was
you're
going to say honky. Goddamn honky.
Go to the
I knew it
honky
was
tonk.
going to be that one.
God, it's got to be like that's got to be like a knife to the heart of a like bleeding heart liberal to be like, oh, did you just call me a honky? A black woman call me a honky when I do nothing but support you and victimize. I mean, tell you that you're a victim. I mean, try to build.
Goodness.
Whatever. So she shared another fun post. I'm just looking at her Facebook page because I love virtue signaling people. So there was a post shared regarding on July 1st regarding it's whatever. When I hear a white American say my family had nothing to do with slavery, so why should I apologize? I think of Willy Brandt. Willy Brandt was Germany's chancellor from 1969 to 1974. In 1970, he made a historic visit to Poland. Brandt came to the site of the Warsaw Ghetto, an open-aired walled prison where the Nazis forced Jews to live before liquidating in 1943. Yada, yada, yada.
Ooh.
Talked about, like, I don't know how this has anything to do with slavery and black people. This was, he's the German chancellor. Essentially, he was the head of a country or, in charge of certain things in a country and was talking about something that only happened 23 years ago. What the fuck do I have to do regarding slavery? My family wasn't like, this is just the insanity of people to think that we have to apologize for this shit is just mind boggling.
Just man, I need to go.
Posting shit.
She keeps talking, and I'm gonna be triggered.
We all know the number one thing you should always do is hold the sins of the ancestors against the children. It's always best. That is always the best practice for a healthy society.
Yet we can't blame the children that shot a police officer because their mom says so. Because the mom said that those are we can't blame real shit happening in this world, but we can blame something from 150 years ago on. Technically, Sherry's blaming herself. I don't know what does she do to actually
white guilt.
Does she like go out and like hand cash?
Hey, look, hey, Sherry, cut the check. Go ahead and cash out me my money.
What's your PayPal, Sydney?
No. We're not giving you money. You get your 40 acres and a mule. She's got that.
Cut the check.
Dude, it's just mind-boggling to me, dude.
Suni's getting a hit. She needs a little of that Delta strand. Okay.
That DHC.
Now that we had a really fun curveball because that was hilarious. So what did we finish with Cuomo? He's gone. Happy day. That's about right.
It's to me, it was a little bit amazing that he's gone, but Ralph Northam is still there.
Well, yeah, like Cuomo's gone, but the lieutenant governor steps in. Everybody's seen her video today on the internet.
Woman? It's a
woman?
Oh,
yeah.
Also,
New York.
Also, that AG.
You think Nancy Pelosi is bad? Look at her.
Yeah, no, they're dude, it's corrupt as hell. The AG is probably going to be the primary front runner for the next gubernatorial election. So to say there wasn't some kind of incentive behind making sure that there was tons of evidence that he was a sexual assaulter is, it might be a little bit of an understatement. Not to say that he wasn't, but she also benefits greatly from him disappearing.
Yep.
Cool.
Everything comes back to bite you in politics.
Who was messaging me earlier? Was it somebody in this group that said that they believe that Cuomo might have got railroaded?
Oh, God. Here we go. First, it's believe women. Then it's women lie, which they absolutely do. Pick a struggle.
Oh, so I heard. I was like, okay, I could see. Who the hell sent that to me earlier? I don't know. Anyways, all right, final subject, infrastructure plan, which, again, I have not been up on the news in the last day, but the infrastructure plan has changed 37 times since it started, much the same as, the purpose of vaccines. So what is this infrastructure deal that was signed today from a bipartisan level? I know it's not the $3 trillion, I know that, but it's still pretty sizable. Go ahead. What? What's up, Kevin?
This one's only $1 trillion, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
This one's only a trillion.
Yeah, only $1 trillion.
Only.
Suni, go ahead.
So this is pretty much what it's supposed to be doing. It makes the largest federal investment in the public transit ever. Makes the largest federal investment in the passenger rail since the creation of Amtrak, which has nothing to do with the betterment of our country. Makes the single largest dictated bridge investment since the construction of the interstate highway system. Makes the largest investment in clean water and clean drinking water, which Obama couldn't achieve. By the way, he was black, and it affected the largest, not the largest, but one of the largest heavily black populated areas. High-speed internet for everybody, especially the African-American community, because we don't have access to this stuff. It helps tackle the climate crisis. That makes the largest investment in clean energy transmission. And we can go down even further to see exactly what they're getting into. Roads and bridges, safety. America has one of the highest road fatality rates in the industrialized world. So somehow the federal government is going to lower high road fatalities. Don't ask me how. Public transit, passenger and freight rail. Unlike highways and transit, rail lacks multi-year funding to stream the address deferred maintenance. Who takes the train?
There's a lot.
Really quick on the highway issue, unless their plan is to build another highway on top of the current highway, where the whole point is if your foot releases off the accelerator even a little bit, you get blown up. I would be for that. I don't know how they do this. How do they do this?
Well, they're going to have the plug-in electrical vehicle system. They're going to throw that out there, make it bigger because they're competing with China.
China.
We're going to be getting electric buses, everybody. This is going to really put a dent in the crime that's happening across our country.
We already have a lot of electric buses depending on the city. So
I hope a lot of the money in this. Yeah. Sorry, Casey.
No, I was just going to reiterate, like a lot of cities do have electric buses and big programs to already expanding, like doing that.
Nuts, man.
Yep. I hope there's a little bit of money set aside for the bombs that are going to be necessary to drop on all the coal power plants being built in India and China, because that's really going to be necessary to end this whole climate crisis. But I don't see that in there, so I don't think they're actually trying to address the climate change problem.
So they're talking about also making Pangea a thing again. You guys remember Pangea when everything was all connected? I'm being sarcastic. They're talking about reconnecting communities and rebuilding old highways. So we're going to have Pangea back, everybody. I saw you sit up like, what?
It's like, what kind of... What?
Oh, shoot. Airports and waterways. This is the infrastructure that we need. Resilience and Western water infrastructure. Climate change, of course, plays a factor in all this. Clean drinking water, internet, the internet I was telling you about, environmental remediation. What? 26% of Black Americans and 29% of Hispanic Americans live within 3 miles of a Superfund site. High percentage then for Americans overall. So apparently only Blacks and Hispanics in a large amount, which is 26% of us, and 29, we live in highly polluted areas. So they need to go ahead and fix that. Because pollution is killing niggas.
Actually, probably is, though. Living close to freeways is one of the worst things on your health that they have found. But that's specifically freeways.
But that's okay. We're going to fix the freeways.
But outside of that, that's still a lot of shit, it sounds like.
This is a Green New Deal. I'm just telling you guys now. Yeah. Go look at the Green New Deal and look at the infrastructure plan.
This isn't infrastructure. They're out of the stuff that you show me. I mean, we've got issues with our roads and stuff, but this is... Yeah. And let's be honest, I've always been, I worked for a certain auto manufacturer where we were one of the spearheads of electric cars. And I was a big proponent of electric cars. I still think there's a lot of positives, but fact is, if you really do your research, it doesn't save much. If anything, it gives you, it saves you money, But in terms of for the environment, the amount of fossil fuels used and the actual lithium mining is absolutely absurd. It's
like the worst thing there is on the environment is lithium mining.
The other thing that most people don't realize with electric vehicles that this big push is going to cause, and you realize that we pay for our roads mostly with our gas tax right now.
Yep.
So when you pay for gas, you actually pay for our infrastructure.
Yep.
So when they push this electric vehicle thing and they get to this big target that Joe Biden was talking about by 2030, now you're going to have to pay per mile you drive. And then the government's going to slowly just increase the price per mile that you drive, which is then going to limit on how much you could drive because you're not going to be able to afford it anymore. Gas tax doesn't even increase that much.
Sherry, do you want to come on the show? I can send you a link. Do you want to chat?
I'll mute myself. You don't got to worry about me going in on
Oh,
you.
no, I don't really care.
Unless you say some shit about black people, bro, you're safe.
Sherry, if I'll look up the facts. Living within 500 feet of we just said that. Didn't we just say that?
What I said.
Do you have selective hearing? I don't know.
Okay, but Sherry, if we're being real, all right, if we're being real, and you go ask a black person, hey, what's plaguing you? Oh, the highways and the toxicity in the air. You really think they're gonna say that? Well, I'm gonna wait for her to answer. Come on, man.
Well, yeah, I want to hear some people in the hood be like, yo, motherfucker, you know what? You know what's some bullshit? Now, pollution is fucking with my shit.
Didn't you want to come on the show? Yes.
Did she say yes?
Would I like to come on the show? Look, I'm going to mute myself.
Yes, I will send you the link. I have your Facebook page up right now. Yes, Sherry, would you like to come on right now? I'll send you the link and you can air all. Can I repeat the question? Okay, so here's my question. Sherry, for our last 15 minutes of the show, would you like to come on and explain to Suni why she doesn't understand what it's like to be black and why everything that we say is apparently not good enough for what you would like to hear? I would love that. Can we? So if you would like it, I'll send you the link.
A whole bunch of green for this.
Just send it to her. Just send it to her.
I'm just gonna send it to her. I'm gonna send her the link, and that'll be, hopefully
she'll be in your Facebook inbox.
All right, I can't wait. And you could talk about anything you want. You could literally talk about everything. You could talk about how Joey Basements is your knight and shining hero. You could talk about whatever you damn well please. All right, here you are. I'm sending
you want.
All right, it is sent as of right now. It's in your.
Take one.
I think
with you guys, I'm curious what are your guys' thoughts? Would you guys support paying per mile instead of paying for gas tax?
No. It's neither. But the idea that you're going to be paying per mile, like, what is the charge going to be? A penny? Because the average person drives around 12,000 miles a year, $1,000 a month. Are you going to charge a penny? Because that's $120 extra. Are you going to charge a dime? Now you're looking at $1,200 a year. You're $1. So you're trying to tell me that you're gonna punt? It's just absolutely asinine. It is ridiculous, and it is absolutely going to punish minorities more than anyone else. Although there is something to be said for robust, I guess, transit. But dude, if you live in LA, there is no transit. If you live there are a lot of big cities where if you lived, you must own a car, and there's at least 20 million people in LA alone that must own cars. Right. I'm kind of getting off there, but
you're getting off. Whoa, it's not that kind of show, Kevin. Come on.
It's that getting off farm stuff. I drive a truck. This is bullcrap, man.
She tried to use a big word.
Your supposition.
I understand what that means,
Me being I'm not camera right now. Excuse extra word above. Okay. Well, I've now friend requested you if there's any topic you would ever want to come on a Tuesday night and talk about why anything with a libertarian or conservative ideal is wrong, and that you are the end all be all knowing everything about black people. I would love to have you on.
Okay? Yeah, let's go. This will be the main event.
I was told libertarian views are in fact incredibly childish today, so not the first time either. So I mean.
God, did anybody see the Bill Maher with Ben Shapiro and that?
I've been meaning to watch that.
What's that
I don't
guy's
like
name?
Ben Shapiro.
He's tough to beat in an argument, but this
He
dude that
is.
he was with, if you dislike Ben Shapiro, the black dude from MSNBC that was on as his opposition, you will hate worse than life itself. What's his name? It's like hold on, I'll tell you.
Is it Ben Shapiranus or something like that?
What? No.
I listen to Ben basically every
Malcolm
day.
Nance.
Yeah.
Malcolm Nance is the most smug, arrogant prick I have ever seen on a TV show in my whole entire life. And finally, he just he's incredibly intelligent, but at one point he just lowered himself to say like, "Your book sucks" or "Your show sucks," and Ben Shapiro goes, "Don't worry, I'll go ahead and console myself by sleeping on my bed of money tonight. Thank you very much. Don't worry." This guy was horrible.
I listen to Ben every day. He's a really good eye into like what the young conservatives are going to be thinking. A lot of people my age really follow him. No problems really with him, but like there is something to be said that I would never want to debate him. No matter what my opinion is of him, that guy his brain is a literal computer. He's an emotionless robot. All he does is recite facts, and it is unreal to behold.
You saw his emotion in the show. That's all I can tell you. Like, and he never got mad, but you saw him like twitching and his eyes going. I'm like, ooh, he scared me.
You can tell when he's passionate. Yeah,
he was angry. Suni, what's up?
What's that?
I don't even remember what I was going to say, man. I had a Lil Wayne moment. You know, when you cut on the Wayne track and it's like...
Lil Wayne moment? You mean Joe Biden moment?
Yeah, no, when
don't you ever disrespect me and put me and Joe Biden in the same sentence?
Kush roll money, man. I'm about whatever. Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're talking about.
No, so like, look, people can be computer brains. Like, you can have a Rolodex and stuff, but I think honestly, this is just my personal opinion. I think real people that have common sense, that have lived these things, are going to beat Ben Shapiro any day. Any day. That's just me.
Yeah. I think it just depends on the topic. But if it's talking about real world life experiences and how things really are, yeah. But if you want us to really get into politics and stats and how decisions are made,
but I can go. I know so many people in the hood right now who verse themselves in these things. They're not as polished as a Ben Shapiro, but they can hang with the likes of Ben Shapiro. There's some really intelligent people, man, like straight up, and they would destroy him.
Yeah, on a philosophical level, in all honesty, I wouldn't worry about him in the slightest because he's not. It's not a very nuanced take. He's a conservatarian, right? It's pretty standard, straight edge stuff. But what he does provide is the knowledge that a lot of the arguments that I know are right, even if I don't personally have the backing myself or the factual backing, he does provide a significant amount of the studies of the data that is necessary for me to then go out and give a more personalized approach to the information he's spewing. He does a very important job. Granted, it's not for everyone, and he can be smug at times, but it's also very nice to have that repertoire there that you can turn to.
Everybody has their own lane. I don't like him because I hate how he
it's fair.
He just highlights the negative parts of the Black community. I can't stand that. If you're gonna talk about it, cool, bro, but also recognize people outside of Candace Owens and Brandon Tatum. And he doesn't do anything of the sort. Now he'll talk about a Cardi B song all day, but won't talk about Bryson, who's actually pushing back on a lot of different things that we are suffering with. Like, he just won't. That shit is weird.
I want to give him a little credit. He's the reason I know who Shelby Steele is, Thomas Sowell, Walter Williams. He's the reason I do know a lot of those, but you're 100% right that on the more mainstream level right now, he is not really doing a lot to prop up a lot of those vices. Right. I know Bryson's girlfriend, Shekinah. It's the homie. I've been, I'm friends with her. She's a great person, but these are people that are fighting on the front lines that are out there doing the dirty. And I think that I agree with you. There needs to be a lot more recognition. There's another wonderful woman out there doing it. Have you ever heard of Gothic, Suni?
No.
She's a Black conservative lady. She's recently during the COVID pandemic has gone from being on the left to the right. Incredible mind. I would strongly recommend you getting connected with her.
Wait a second, Kevin.
Watching.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wait, there's two Black conservatives. Somebody tell Sherry to not lose her mind right now. There's two Black conservatives. Holy shnikes.
Is she on Instagram? Do you follow me on Instagram?
I do follow you on Instagram, yeah.
Okay. Just send me her information because I'll reach out for sure.
I've only ever seen her YouTube videos. I've not too much on the other side, but definitely we'll look at her, see if she's on Instagram, because I think that she would be a wonderful person for you to connect with as well. But there's a lot of really good intellectuals out there that are doing a lot of the on the ground.
For real, thinking. Man. We've like formed an underground group on Instagram. A lot of us. We'll do a show together. We'll network. Like, I talked to Brandon Tatum. I talked to his wife. His wife is super cool. I'm actually really cool with her. Super cool with Bryson. Super cool with Shekinah. We don't get the light of day. You get the stamp of conservative, and then people try to stamp Q on you, and people don't want to hear what you have to say. But a lot of us are just normal people. Like, hello.
Yeah.
Do you see what's going on?
Yeah. And it is what it is. The biggest threat to this establishment is the normal people knowing, and right now they're at DEFCON 1. Like they are going crazy, realizing, oh my God, we got the normal people way too involved in our political system. There's a lot of stuff that is really easy to fool the politically interested. It's really easy to fool them. The average people are nowhere near as easy to fool on a lot of stuff. So I'm telling you, it is red alert in a lot of these DNC like hidey holes and stuff like that. And a lot of these back rooms, they are on red alert about this stuff.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gents, we made it to an hour and 45 minutes. Not a bad show. And I want to thank JJ. I know she was great, and hopefully we'll have her on again. I think this Delta variant crap is going to keep staying in the news for as long as the media wants it to be. And I think that we are going to, the Louisiana Jazz Fest or the New Orleans Jazz Fest was just canceled. New York Auto Show was canceled. The event that I was speaking at was canceled. So yeah, there's a lot that we're going back to the same place, because as if we didn't already learn that the lockdowns do nothing. And actually, for those of you on, I totally forgot to share this for my Dallas crew, but I'm going to go and do it before the show wraps. What happened where did Casey go?
You know, there's a new variant too. It's called Duffer. It's going around.
What does that stand for?
Listen, it's the new Delta Charlie COVID variant called Duffer.
Really?
Really.
Why do I not get it?
I'm so serious.
Designated ugly F friend? That's what I know what Duff means.
Dumb, ugly, fat friend.
I wasn't going to say the...
Google it.
Duffer. All right, I'll look it up. Real quick, where the hell is this picture? I should probably know where I put it. There's a taping. If you are in Dallas or Fort Worth area on this Saturday, they're doing a live taping about Be The Change, and I will be the guest at 12 to 2 o'clock. It's at a restaurant called Your Mom's House. That's actually not a joke, and it is a real place. I'm going to go ahead and let me throw it up there real quick. Uploading. So yeah, if you guys are in the Dallas area, if you want to go, let me know. I totally forgot to put this on. We'll do a Concert Vengers tomorrow night. Suni will not be there. We'll have Eric Easy will be with us. So this Saturday, 12 to 2 p.m. Doors open at 11:30 at Your Mom's House. It is in Fort Worth. The flyer is on the Be The Change page. The Rico No Suave show, they will be flying in from Chicago to do that. So if you want to join, hit me up in a Facebook message or go ahead and email. You can be the change now at gmail.com, and I'll make sure to put you on the RSVP. So they're opening it up just for this show. All right, cool. Kevin, go ahead. Wrap it up.
Yep. Just want to reinforce. I need to do this every time now. The most important takeaway any of us can have is that there is something true to be said about the fact that we are together as a community in this. We need to be able to build our communities as one, because at the end of the day, leftist, far right, doesn't matter. You're going to exist in the same communities. And if you cannot be able to interact and build strong communities with each other, just based purely on the fact that we are all in this life together. This life sucks. Life really does suck most of the time. And the thing that helps you get through it is your community, your family, your friends, the people around you that help build you up and get you through these difficult times. And that stuff goes beyond any level of politics. That stuff is all about being humans together and being able to just actually, truly love and respect one another. So that's always going to be my message. Check me out at Liberty.
Cool. All right. So we've got.
First and foremost, shout out to the Goonies. Second off, check me out at Liberty Revolt Media. I'm doing Common Nonsense 2 to 3 times a week by myself. That's an afternoon show. So if you're interested in hearing the ramblings of my crazy mind, go ahead and tune into that one. But yeah, thanks again for having me tonight.
Thanks, Deb. Suni, go for it.
Make America think again. Americans have stopped thinking. Stand up. Don't comply. Don't be afraid. And come together, like Kev was saying, because that's the only way we stand up against this. And tune in to Instagram if you want a fun show to watch. I do a show with director Phil out in Cali. He's a real big director out there, awesome guy. Your mom's house is 12 miles from mine.
The bar.
Oh, okay. And then tune in on Mondays at 8 p.m. for MATA. I'm completely redoing my show. We're doing a lot of rebranding, and I have another podcast coming out called All the Way Black. So we got some fun stuff coming up. Thank you for the show. This was fun.
It's going to trigger Sherry, I feel like, All the Way Black.
It is, man. Yeah. All the Way Black, where Black people are talking about Black issues. And we do actually invite white folks on to challenge us, by the way.
Is it Black issues or is it blissues?
Blissues.
Can I come on and represent the absolute worst part of the left to you guys? I can make the argument very well.
Do it, man. People would go nuts. You see the comment section and be like, what the? Yo, these people on Instagram are crazy. Crazy.
I saw it. It's crazy.
Stay safe out there, Chelly. And Suni, have a great anniversary. Enjoy camping.
Happy anniversary.
And remember, a little bit of brandy goes a long way. If you and the hubs need some alone time, just make those kiddos pass out. You know what I mean?
No, we got the melatonin on deck. I went and bought some.
Oh, that's so good. All right, guys. Remember, the truth will set you free. Be the change you wish to see in the world. And for us here, we are doing our best to be awake and not woke. Take it easy, y'all.